Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today we are not at Green Pastures Farm. We're in Alberta, and my special guest today is Clay and Lea Hansen. Soon to be Hansen. Anyway, we did a farm stop here today. It's an all-day workshop, and they were gracious enough to let us use their farm. And Clay and Lea, tell me a little bit about your operation. What are you all doing here?
Yeah, so we're a cow-calf operation up here. Mom and Dad started it in 1989, so about 25 years ago. We're running roughly about 450 to 500 cow-calf pairs on about 3,300 acres up here. And this year we got about 200 head of yearlings we're running also along with our cow-calf.
Okay.
And yeah, Dad's always rotational grazed. We try to move our cattle through paddocks. We're starting to get a little more intensive. We're using a razor grazer and subdividing our paddocks up and starting to get more
Carbon and stuff on the land.
Yeah, really starting to improve our carbon cycle. And
well, I was impressed today. We did a pasture walk after the workshop in the workshop session part, and the water line that you put in out here, you all put some work in there. And you had a big section of land that didn't have any water on it, so that they had to walk back to one point.
Yeah.
And now you've got the water spread out across that. Tell us a little bit about that project.
Yeah, so actually the Canadian government up here, they had a program going where they would pay for 70% of our project if it was towards using a renewable energy source, and they were trying to get people interested in improving the carbon cycle and improving grasses. So we got that, so we now have a water system that pumps water from our dugout, which is in the middle of a quarter section, and pumps it across that quarter section, and we have water points all throughout the whole thing now. So our cattle don't have to no longer walk half a mile to get to water. They have water points right there where we're intensive grazing them, and really hoping to improve our pasture that way.
And a dugout's kind of like a pond.
Yeah, we call them ponds.
Okay,
Just for those in the States.
Lea, tell us a little bit about your background and what your part is here.
So I grew up in just about 30 kilometers east of here by a lake, and so we met in town through school, and I'm just working here and there while I work at a school in town as an EA, and then I work full-time in the summer moving cows and moving pastures.
You're pretty involved with the farm.
Yeah.
I can tell by just visiting with you. You know a lot what's going on out here.
Yeah, I'm really interested more like into the grass, and we were doing soil testing and doing carbon, seeing how much carbon we're actually putting back into the ground.
Yep.
To see, we want to start a program through that, and to see what we're actually getting out of our inputs into the cows, and see what our outputs are through the calves with our grass.
What about your bale grazing? Talk a little bit about that.
Our bale grazing?
Yeah.
So we bale graze through the winter, and whatever we lay out, how many bales do we lay out in a...
I'm not sure. It's roughly about 2 weeks worth of feed
Yeah.
per section of bales that we set out.
And how big is the section?
How big are the strips?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's roughly about 50,000 pounds worth of straw that we set out at a time.
You did straw?
Yeah,
Yes.
so we bale graze straw. Hay's got so expensive up here, we no longer bale graze our hay. So
we roll them out. We roll about 1 or 2 bales out every single day as a supplement, and then we also put out minerals as a supplement.
Yeah, protein tubs.
And by rolling them out, all the cows get a chance to eat some of it.
And,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it spreads everything out. And so then with the bale grazing, they do leave behind litter, but that also comes back with feeding back in the summer, so it gives us back our grass and produces much more leaf and solar panels, so that it comes back to us.
Well, we were looking at today where you fed this past winter.
Yes.
I mean, massive amounts of manure and carbon that you laid down, or the cows laid down.
Yeah.
So you didn't start a tractor all winter?
No, just a bale
Just the bale
truck.
truck.
No, y'all hear that? No tractor in Canada feeding animals
Yeah.
in snow. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And then we got to look at the second year and the third year.
Yes.
You just see it progressively getting taller and thicker and lusher.
Yeah.
So you get the payback from that practice for years.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Yeah, Dad's been bale grazing up here for over 20 years, and we're still seeing the benefits from his first bale grazing plots.
And wasn't he an oddball for doing that?
Yeah,
Yes.
so actually when Dad first started doing it, our neighbors threatened to report him to the SPCA for starving his cattle because they all shoved their cows into a corral for the winter and feed them bales all winter long in corrals. So we were kind of the outcasts for a lot of years up here when we started doing that.
Well, what was amazing to me today is we went on a pasture walk. All the cows looked good, the calves looked good, and you all haven't had much rain up here. There's a wildfire burning 10 miles from here, your dad was telling me.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's about 3 of them.
Yeah,
So-
there's
Yeah.
3 of
yeah,
them.
Yeah.
yeah.
Folks, it's dry up here.
it
I mean,
is.
look out here behind.
We got about 3 inches of rain so
How many
far.
stalkers do you have down there?
110.
There's 110 stalkers down there, folks, and he's got green pastures and he's in a drought. So this grazing thing, when you're managing your pasture and you're rotating, it works.
No, it definitely does. It's
It's
hugely
definitely-
improved a lot
What
of
if you
this
just
soil
gave
up
him the
here.
whole farm?
Oh, we'd be broke
You'd
right
be
now.
out of business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be no way you could keep doing it.
Yeah.
Can you?
Oh,
No,
sorry.
go ahead.
Well, they pick all the good stuff when you give them so much. They pick
Yep.
all the good stuff and then go back to that good stuff and chew it down, and then you never get the good stuff back.
Yeah.
So
You're left with a bunch of junk.
you're left
Yeah.
with a bunch of junk that they don't eat.
Yeah.
So
You were telling me earlier, you all have some real challenges up here as far as the elk populate. There's a lot of elk that come in and compete with your cows. I thought it was pretty cool what your mom was talking. You brought the dogs in.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So yeah, we started using Anatolian Kangal cross dogs to try to control our wildlife problems. So we'd have up to 200 head of elk come in and start eating our bales we had set out for our cows. And what they don't eat, they destroy, and the cows won't touch it afterwards. So we've had really good success with bringing them dogs in.
They just ran the elk off.
Yeah, and they move right around with our cows. We have a little trailer, it's their dog house. They move around with the cows. That's their home. They
Yep.
love the cows.
Yep.
And anything that's not a cow, predators included, they get rid of and chase off.
I was surprised the wolf. You don't have a lot of wolf predation on your cattle. Your neighbor up here, he said he lost 50 calves.
Yeah,
yeah.
And you haven't lost any.
no, knock on
Well,
wood.
what's the deal? Your cows just don't taste good? Or what?
I think they do. But yeah, luckily, I don't know, just the area we're in, they seem to stay a little closer up to the green zone, and that grazing lease is kind of their area. So
Yeah,
knock on wood, I think we've just been fairly lucky around here.
yeah, yeah.
Do you want to talk about the cattle?
Yeah, so the type cattle you're running, they're a black Angus and a red Angus, and you're putting a Charolais bulls on them?
Yeah. So we're terminal breeding them with Charolais bulls and wean the calves every fall and sell the calves direct to feedlots right off the ranch.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, but we're starting to breed back Red Angus too. We bought heifers that we're breeding, and so we're gonna get some replacement heifers to build back.
Yeah.
the herd.
Yeah.
Well, the replacement, some of the stock that your mom said y'all raised, that's the right size. You've got
Yeah.
some really nice heifers or right sized cows.
And that's what we're shooting for. We're
Yeah.
starting to sort of go down our cows list and starting to see what gives and what we need to take out. So, and we're starting to go small,
Yeah.
but with that
Yeah.
heavy set.
Yeah.
So that's what we're shooting for.
Big
yes,
gut.
the big
Yeah.
gut.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
you always want a big gut.
You've got some cows that are big,
Yeah.
but you've got some cows that are the right size. And I
Yeah.
think you all seeing which ones are working the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You want that smaller,
Darn right.
straight
But
back.
in smaller is not Missouri smaller.
No.
No,
No.
But I mean,
everything up
it just-
here is
Everything's
definitely
gonna be
bigger.
bigger. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's
but
right.
we don't want that lanky, long leg.
Right.
But we want that.
Or the great big, we can't be running the 2,000-pound
No.
cows. I mean, they
Yeah.
just eat way too much feed in the winter. And
Yeah.
with the price of feed up here, because that's the other thing, we don't put up any of our own hay.
Yep.
We have one tractor that's used for setting out bales,
Yep.
and a feed truck and a skid steer. And that's
it.
that's our equipment.
Yeah.
We buy all of our hay from our local producers around here.
Yep.
So that's trying to cut costs too, so we start making some of that money, actually putting it in our pockets instead of
No.
getting rid of all of it.
Yeah.
And you use what do you unroll your wire with out here?
We're using a razor grazer from Range Ward. That's a very good tool to use.
You'll be seeing that. We did a video on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are
today.
a very
Cool.
good,
Yeah.
very good unit.
So easy. So
Especially
easy
in
to
large
handle.
sections of land.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
you can split up a quarter section in no time flat. Couple of hours with two guys, and
No,
you've
you
got
need a
it
couple
subdivided and yeah, ready to rock and roll. It's
That's
good.
awesome.
You get your steps in.
Yeah, get that.
Keeps you in shape.
Yeah,
Get that
it
Fitbit.
does, yeah.
Yeah. Well, folks, I want to thank you,
Thank you.
Leah, and
Yeah, thank you,
Clay.
Clay.
That's your first name.
Clay, that's all
Clay,
good.
I've talked to too many people today. All right. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh,
to do
thanks for
this.
coming out. It was
And
awesome
thanks
to
for
have
opening
you.
up your ranch to the whole group today. And I know it
Definitely.
took a lot of work, but y'all pulled off a great conference.
Oh,
This is our first one of our tour, and I think y'all set a pretty high standard.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
That's
That's
good.
good.
And your folks did a wonderful job.
yeah, your
Yeah.
folks are wonderful too. So we want to thank them as well.
No, thank you
Thank you.
guys.
Best of luck to you guys in your future.
And set that wedding date.
yeah.
yeah.
Keep that smile on your face. You both to me sound like you enjoy what you're doing.
Oh, love it.
And so to me, there's no doubt you're all going to be very successful. Very successful. Thank you all.
Thank
No,
you.
Folks,
thank you.
on the way out, hit that subscribe button if you would. And we'll see you down the road next time. Thank you all.